Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network.
'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven.
A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at ubnradio.com.
Okay, so that is my really corny beginning because I don't have an intro into my show yet, right, Kurt? When are you going to do that for me?
I'll get right on that.
So welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday night. It's 8 p.m. here in Hollywood at Sunset Gower Studios, and we are on. You're listening to Living Unfiltered with me, Wendy Cooper. I can't announce that yet. I just have to wait, right, Kurt? I have a lot of announcements to make.
Yeah, one at a time.
Kurt, I make Kurt really crazy. You never will see Kurt. You hear him breathing hard right now, but anyway, you're never going to see him. And I make him frantic because I'm really anal about how things look on my show, and then Kurt has to go live with this like this, and I'm talking, and he can't think. So, you have to, wait, stand by, everybody. You got to give me a moment here. You'll be able to see because it's on my computer. Okay. Oh, Kurt, it looks good. Tony, honey out there. Thank you. It looks good. I'm happy. Okay, and if I'm happy, everybody's happy. So what's new, dude? Still getting married, or did you guys split up?
I know. I'm still getting married, yeah.
Yeah?
It's
Her birthday's right around the corner.
It is, yeah.
What are you getting her?
She likes Cinderella, so I was actually thinking about taking her to that movie that's coming out.
Oh, I just saw that on the bus stop.
Yeah.
Who's playing Cinderella?
That I don't know.
Well, our guest does. There.
She drags me to the movies. I go. It's just what happens.
Well, that's not going to last long.
Yeah.
That's not going to last long. I'll give you a couple of years on that one.
Okay,
All right? Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so tonight is the night that I announce that I am changing a few things. And no, I'm not changing my husband, and no, I could say something really funny right now, but I will not say. I won't say it. I promise, honey. I will not say it. Amore mio. My guest tonight is somebody that I have known for a while, and we met in a very serendipitous, I think, way. And I am so grateful that I did, because, this show is supposed to be about, it's living unfiltered, and we want to break down the filters that cause us to, it's hard for me right now because I'm changing this, right? And but we want to break down the filters that cause us not to be us and don't allow us to actually have our true self and be authentic. And like my sister said this weekend, she said, Wendy, living unfiltered is about being happy, because if you live unfiltered, you obviously are going to be happy because all of the shit that's filtering you is gone, and the core of everyone's soul is happiness. And I thought, fucking A. And that's part of my new show. So anyway, my guest tonight is an amazing human being. She's beautiful. She has the most gorgeous blue eyes on the planet Earth. And we did meet in a really special way, and we've remained friends since. And Elise Ballard, she is the host and creator of an online community called Epiphany Channel, and the author of Epiphany. It's a book, and it's Epiphany, True Stories of Sudden Insight to Inspire, Encourage, and Transform. It was published by Random House, and I remember because I'm in it. I'm sandwiched between Clive Davis and Deepak Chopra, only because I'm Cooper. No other reason, but I think it was alphabetical. So I got lucky. No. Oh, that's right. It's not, because it's in sections.
Yeah, it's in sections.
Oh my
You're
God.
in the miracle section, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am. Just look at me.
Okay, I'm talking before
she's
my
talking.
turn.
Okay, no, at least you can talk, but I'm still going to keep talking about you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hello.
Sound effects even. This is amazing.
Yes, I love it. Look at, okay, so anyway, it's a collection. The book is a collection of over 50 interviews with amazing people from all walks of life recounting their stories and their greatest epiphanies, meaning that they have many. But these are their greatest epiphanies. And it's awesome. The people you interviewed are just like crazy awesome. I can't imagine. And I love the trailer. We're going to show the trailer. I think we downloaded the trailer before. We'll wait a couple of minutes. But the trailer that you have online.
Oh, great.
That's at your TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh,
I
good.
love
I'm
that.
so glad you've got that. And
Yeah.
You're going to play it. Yay.
Yeah, we're going to play it. That's what's great about this format is we can play video.
Yeah,
you know?
I love it.
And
I
I-
love your new digs, man. This is amazing.
You like it?
I'm very proud of you.
I should put the camera on and it's like, let everybody see that we're sitting in front of. Look at what we're sitting between me and you. What there is. It's like oh,
Living without filters all the way. Show them all the nitty gritty.
So here we go. I want to. There's new stuff in this bio that I didn't know that you had worked on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, since I don't know. You worked on the You series with Dr. Oz.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't know that for some reason, or
Yeah.
maybe I had forgotten. Maybe I knew it, but you also are really well known for your cult film as a producer
Yes. My
for Wieners, or wait a minute, Das Wieners. Wait, what's it called?
Dachshund. It's Lord of the Wiens,
Lords of
a
the
documentary. The document. They're still selling it. They just called me to send new ones. It's hilarious. Yeah. So that was a surprise hit in the dachshund world.
But it's a
And it runs
it's
on
a cult
PBS
film.
and stuff. Yeah, no, it's got a following. It's crazy. I still sell it. People still want to distribute it. PBS runs it. It's amazing. The Wiener Dog Races in Buda, Texas, is just what the story is about. It's like Best in Show, but it's real, and it's about this Wiener Dog race in Buda, Texas, which is just 15 miles south of Austin.
Okay, hold on. I thought it said Buda, Texas.
Well, it is, but you pronounce it Buda. But it is spelled Buda.
Excuse me.
Many people make that mistake.
Buda.
It's fine.
Well, of course, I would have thought it was.
How dare you not know
Buda, Texas, and I've lived in Austin.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. My son
Yeah.
was born there. My son Wyatt was born in Austin.
Right, I forgot
Apropos
about
for Wyatt.
And I met you through an Austinite, actually.
You did
so.
through Tom. Tom?
No, Bill.
No, Bill. Thank you.
Yes.
Bill. Somebody. I don't remember his last name now.
I do, but I won't out him on the air.
That's good. Don't. Because I got something to tell you after the show about that.
Okay.
All right. You're a TEDx speaker. You've been an invited TEDx speaker. Now,
Yes.
unlike the TEDx speakers that are clamoring on the walls, please let me speak at a TEDx event.
I didn't even know that you could apply. It was so funny. I, talk about serendipity, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, later. But someone said, Elise, maybe you should apply for this with your Epiphany stuff. And I didn't even read it. And then the next day I got invited, and then I read my friend's email. I was like, oh my God, this is the same thing she was talking about. So yeah, I did it, and I didn't even realize,
that you had to be that. Yeah. One of my guests that was on a couple of weeks ago, Shelby, she organizes them for Manhattan Beach.
Oh, wow.
And my dream, I swore to Buda, that my dream is to speak at a TEDx talk.
Oh, well.
And she said, well, all you have to do is come up with a really good topic. We really want.
Girl, why don't you talk about your epiphany and what you've done since, how you celebrate every day? And you know what I mean? We'll talk about it after, for sure.
Can you coach me on that a little bit? Because, sometimes when you're trying to find something yourself other people might find something very special or really poignant or really important, and you're kind of like it's your own thing, so you're not so feeling that.
Yeah. I think other people constantly have to tell me, or I don't see it at all, at
Yeah.
all. But I think, also every TEDx has a theme.
Oh, they do?
So they invited me for one called Disruption. And then they invited me to speak to kids as well. So so you should look maybe in the area at ones.
I would love
and then
to
look
talk
for like different what subject you think your experience would best speak to. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, not being a college graduate and being able to succeed as an entrepreneur. That just came to my mind. No, I would love to talk to kids about being inventive.
Is that true that you didn't get a college degree? Because it's funny that you're bringing that up, because I thought about that. I'm helping one of my best friends' kids get an internship this summer in the art. He wants to be in music. And I have told my friends, do not have your kids major in business.
Don't.
If he wants to be in music, he needs to major in music. And if he doesn't have enough background, something more
Or
in the
liberal arts.
Yes. I
Yeah.
said, that is what trains your brain and educates you to then use your gifts and talents to their best abilities. You learn business on the job. My opinion.
You learn business on the job. The things that I would have to say that I regret. Okay, so here's a little bit about my education.
Right. Should we wait? Is it okay
I'm
that
not
we're going off?
I'm not done with you yet.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Just so they'll know who I am. I
Yes,
guess you told
thank
them I was an author. I don't know.
No, you're not.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
yes, I
okay.
did. But wait a minute.
They'll
She
be
started
like,
her
who is
career.
this girl?
Hold
And
on.
what is this?
Elise Ballard started her career in entertainment working as an actress in
Yes.
New York and Austin and moved from independent filmmaking and producing in Los Angeles as a partner. Do I look good like this? As a partner in a production company with films distributed by Lionsgate and Monarch Entertainment. And then you did your directorial debut with Lord of
The Wiens.
the Wiens,
Yes.
a documentary about Wiener dogs.
Yes.
And Buda, Texas.
In Buda, Texas. That's
Which became a cult hit. Elise is a motivational speaker and a 2-time invited TEDx speaker. Contributes articles to publications such as Live Happy magazine and Psychology Today. That I did not know.
Well, this is all, Live Happy just reached out to me. They recommended my book, and I was like, who is this? And apparently they sell more copies than Dr. Oz magazine, and they're based in Dallas, which is where I'm from. And then, so I'm going to be in their new March issue.
So that's new? Is this very new, the Live Happy thing?
Yeah, just January, they recommended my book as one of the books to pick up for the 21 ideas to help you find your passion in life. And so I was like number 8. And
Oh
so,
my God.
And so then they tweeted my kid TEDx talk actually. So I said thanks. I didn't know them, and then they also, that was another serendipitous thing. So and now next month, look for the Live Happy. It's an International Happiness Day issue, and they asked me exactly. It's up your alley. They asked me to 3 questions about happiness. What is happiness? Things like this. How do you
How do you define? I mean, seriously, how do you define happiness? I mean, it's so subjective.
Yeah, I define happiness as fulfillment.
Yeah, fulfillment.
I think America, especially, we have this misconstrued notion about happiness and that you're supposed to be happy
And giggling.
and happy all the time. And if you're not, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
And that's just not reality. I mean, Europeans think we're insane for this, notion.
But no, wait, Europeans are like this. They walk around going, I mean, I'm married to one. Right?
Yes. So you know what I'm
it's
saying.
Like, what? Oh, sorry, Marino, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Marino is one of the happiest guys, but when he gets serious, he gets a little serious.
But this is the thing, is they don't expect to. Okay, so I think fulfillment is the baseline that we live from if we can maintain that.
Yes.
And that's what I've learned. I've learned this all through just doing my Epiphany project, really. You hear all this stuff, but I'm one of these people that has to experience everything in order to really get it.
I don't think that fulfillment is a wonderful thing, and yes, it's a feeling.
Well, I think that it's about you finding your gifts and talents, utilizing them, developing them in life, and developing a life where you're fully engaged in the work or your daily activities. Usually it has a lot to do with your work, but it's really utilizing your gifts and talents. Maybe that means you're a full-time homemaker, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or whatever, or a gardener or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever your gifts and talents are, if you've developed and are utilizing them in meaningful ways to you, it will energize you. I've just interviewed so many people, so many, that this is absolutely the case, and in my opinion. And then you are energized by that, and then your personal life is usually energized, and then you're energized to reach out to the world in bigger ways. So look, we all have challenges in life. No one gets out of this life unscathed. No one.
Well, you have to have the challenges.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to get out of it.
Yeah.
But I think the goal is to find a level of fulfillment and connection and gratitude. I think there are different ways. Connection, forgiveness, and gratitude are keys also to this, besides utilizing your gifts and talents in meaningful ways. And then when the dark times hit, you can still see beauty.
What if you can't find your gift and talent? What if you think you don't have any gifts or talents?
You do. These are what epiphanies lead you to. This is why I've discovered that we all have epiphanies. It's a matter if you're paying attention? Are you listening?
Are you
And
listening?
they're little awakenings to what those are, to what your heart or what you're called to be doing. And I'm not saying it's always easy. It's not, but
Right.
it's necessarily to do, and, I think Oprah, a lot of people talk about this. It doesn't have to necessarily mean it's your full-time job, but that you are utilizing your gifts and talents in whatever way that you're developing them and are engaged with them. And everybody has their own unique
And
thing.
that makes you automatically, I think when I say I think it's about a feeling, is that then that automatically kind of triggers this contentment, right? This
there's
feeling
there's
in your body that then triggers the happiness elements,
Well,
right?
and I think that, as I was saying, that when you then have the dark moments, you can still see beauty, you can still feel connection, and you don't completely lose yourself when we have moments of loss or challenges or dark times. And then when we have those moments of joy and triumph and love and amazingness, we can fully be there. So the highs, the happy times, the joyful times, you're fully there, and and you're living. You're just fully living.
You're kind of present. You're
Yeah.
present in that really wonderful space.
You're fully there. and you're,
Understanding that the challenges are there in order to take you to the, so that you can even be happier. Because, by the way, you can't really be happy unless you've been sad, because you don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so you have to be sad in order to feel happiness.
That's what they say. I don't know. Babies are pretty happy.
Well, who knows how freaking miserable they were 9 months in that watery womb.
But anyway, that is my definition of happiness. I think it
Babies
is
are pretty happy. That's weird.
I don't know.
They cry all the time.
That's true when they're hungry. But I'm just saying, until they start bringing on baggage, they're, usually, I don't know. I guess it's true. Some babies come in miserable.
I was
Yeah.
a miserable freaking child.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. I was miserable. My grandma, until the day she died in her rocking chair, she would tell anybody and everybody that would know me how miserable I was as a baby.
Really?
No, she did was crying. The only person that could hold her was me. I had to hold her. Remember that? No, Grandma, I was 2 months old. I would hold her. Marty, no. You know what? I had to hold her and walk with her and hold her, crying. And no wonder, this little Jewish grandmother, no wonder, look at her. And I never lived that down. It's like, I don't even remember. Maybe you were doing something to me. I was a baby.
Didn't you have
Exactly.
colic
I
or
actually had
something?
allergies. We were in
Yeah.
Arizona on Luke Air Force Base, and
You didn't feel good.
I had terrible allergies. It turns out, listen to this, that my dad, who was one of the first Thunderbirds, he is 86 now, I think, and he had this really bad problem with his knee, and they didn't find out until 2 years ago that when we lived 60 years ago, when I was born in Arizona, he got valley fever. And valley fever is a fungus that gets in. Sometimes you don't know you have it. Obviously, you didn't know you had it for all these years.
Right.
And it ate away at his knee.
Gosh.
And so he had to take all this weird fungal man. But my son Wyatt has valley fever. He got it from living in Arizona.
I've never heard of that. I'm glad I've
Yeah.
never lived in Arizona.
It's in Texas too, and it's in
Oh.
it's in the vineyards here in California because it comes from the dirt. It's a fungus in the dirt, so you get it from sandstorms and things like this. It gets kicked up, and you don't know you have it until you get really, really sick. And sometimes it's very debilitating, and sometimes it's not. But anyway, I got my dad's knee at 86 years old, and the guy said, "Well, you know what? Let's do this test. I think maybe I have valley fever." And he did. So that was really interesting. I have no freaking idea why I started talking about that.
I know. Yeah.
For a reason.
Well, maybe there's someone listening who needed that information.
That's right.
You never know.
That's right.
But anyway, that is my definition of happiness, is fulfillment. I think if you can find that, then you have a great baseline for life.
Yeah, they say until you find fulfillment, you can't be the best version of yourself. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
So you have to. Well, that's a little Kabbalistic thing. When I was going to the Kabbalah Center, fulfillment was just like this huge thing. Happiness was fulfillment. They always would say happiness was
Good.
fulfillment.
So I'm in good company.
You are. Well, I don't know about that, but yes,
It's very ancient wisdom. I
Yes.
believe that.
It's super ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I still believe in the wisdom. I just don't believe in the money part of it.
Oh, I don't know anything
over
about.
there on Robertson.
Oh.
You got to pay to pray.
Oh,
That's what you got to do. I'm not done yet.
you're not?
No.
Oh.
You did the U's with Dr. Oz and Michael Roizen.
Yes, they're both.
She is
in my book.
currently writing. You're currently writing and developing several projects, including works based on Epiphany. She resides in Los Angeles, and you love visiting the homeland. I like the way you did the homeland. And then
That's what I call it. I'm going back to the homeland.
And then
Tell
she's-
him I said hi.
And then you have in parentheses not like one homeland. It's New Orleans, Dallas, and Austin.
I know, because I'm from New Orleans originally, and we always kept a presence there. My parents like pretty much have retired there, so because I go see my parents, I'm there really visiting more than I am where I grew up in Dallas. And then in my adult life, I spent
You were in Austin.
So all three of those places to me feel are like home. So
I lived in Cedar Park.
yes, I remember that. I do remember that.
Yes. So anyway, tell me what's. Let's talk a little bit. Oh, would you please ask me what my epiphany is? My new epiphany.
Yes. So Wendy, what is your new epiphany that you want to share with all of us
glad you
tonight?
asked. I am so glad you asked. It is. No, here's the deal. I used to do a show called Going to Market with Wendy and Peter. And before that, I was at LA Talk Radio, and I did a show called The C-Spot. It was all about marketing, because that's what I do for a living is I do marketing. And I do television production and writing and producing. Okay. So then I decided that I did this big thing on my last day here. And I went through this whole thing of Rosh Hashanah. And I go, okay, that's it. I'm having a Rosh Hashanah epiphany. And I come to the studio because it was my day to do my show. Right. And I said, you know what, Peter, we're not going to be doing this show anymore. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but we're not going to be doing it. This one. Not this one. That one. And I took 3 months off. I think it was about 3 months. And I went through this whole process, I thought. I went through this process of finding myself and finding looking and searching for me. And trying to figure out why, what was my cancer all about? What was my... all of my past about, and, the abuse in my past and blah, blah. What was that about? What was that about? Why did I have to go through that? And so I thought I was on this right track of, I'm going to go back on the radio and I'm going to have this great show and it's all going to be about me, not necessarily me, but a new me and serious. And I'm going to talk about all of these terrible things that have happened in my life because I want to share those things with everybody, because you know what, if I share them and I have guests on that we live unfiltered, it's kind of a funny story, I'll get there, a little unfiltered, and my definition last week of unfiltered was, let's talk about the shit nobody really wants to talk about, and let's talk about all that pain and all that stuff, what it's really like to go through chemo and, be unfiltered in that way. And then I realized that I was coming to the radio show, this show, for the past month, and I was not digging it. I was like, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. Every once in a while I'd be really funny, and I would go, whoa, that was kind of weird. I shouldn't be funny on a show like this. I'm driving to see my dad, my sister, and my husband says to me before I leave, because I was so pissed off about last week's show, he says, you know what, Wendy? People don't want to be serious. They want to hear funny. And I went, and the thing was, is I asked the universe in my car, I said, I was so irritated, and I ran out of the house, and I go, give me a sign. I need a sign today. Today, I need a sign. What am I supposed to do with my radio show? Because I love the living unfiltered. Just give me a sign. And he'd been giving me, the story of God and the boat and the guy on the roof and in the flood. And, he sends a helicopter and he sends all of that stuff. Well, he had sent me the freaking helicopter 10 times already, and I just didn't see it, which is my show page, where I have this big smile on my face, the picture that I chose for my show page. And my Living Unfiltered page, and I'm laughing. I'm actually laughing at Ariana Savalas. She's saying something to me, but I cut her out. And it was right there in front of me. It has to be about, Living Unfiltered is about laughing about life. Yeah. And that's what it is. And so this show, that was my epiphany I had this weekend. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and having you on the show, because you know the definition of happiness, and to talk about, how do you talk about shit? I mean, in life, and the only thing that gets you through life is laughing about it, right?
I say that. I was like, thank goodness for my sense of humor, or I wouldn't have survived some stuff, Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, I want to ask you, because can you give us a little bit of a list of the people that you did interview for your book?
Sure.
I know that list, and then can you talk about, I think it would be fun for me for you to maybe talk about or tell us from a different light of all of those epiphanies that you heard from all of those really remarkable people. And then since, I mean, there's got to be some funny stuff that happened during those interviews. No? Yes? I mean, were you shocked by some epiphanies when you were interviewing
well,
them?
I was always shocked on some level because I always had a preconceived notion about what their epiphany might be, and it was never what I thought. It was, it was never what I thought. And I talk about that a little bit in the book. But yeah, I shot, there's a lot of videos on my website because it started.
Do we want to do the trailer?
I don't know. I mean, we're welcome to do the trailer.
Yes.
Do you want to do the trailer?
Yeah, let's do the trailer because that's a great. I love that trailer.
Oh, thank you.
You're walking around a corner and suddenly an event takes place that changes your life. Consequently, it changes the lives of many others because, we are all connected.
So we're talking about the biggest aha moments of our lives, these moments of clarity and realization, discoveries about life that sort of set your life in a new direction.
I'm asking people from all walks of life from all over the world. What is your greatest realization in life? We just interviewed all of the Nobel winners in physics and economics and chemistry today. This one might stump you. What is your greatest epiphany in life?
So what's an epiphany?
Normal people can do great things.
We're in San Francisco asking some of San Francisco's brightest minds what their greatest epiphanies in life are. I'm going to find out what Craig Newmark's greatest epiphany in life is right now. I am about to Skype with Desmond Tutu.
We all may or may not be aware that we are making ripples out in the world, but I have learned through this journey of mine that this notion of the ripple effect is absolutely true. And that epiphanies are a way in which we can witness this phenomenon. When a person changes because of an epiphany, it not only changes his or her life, but it affects everyone around them, and sometimes the world in even bigger ways. Believe in your revelations, believe in yourself, take action, and watch the world conspire to support you. That is now my greatest epiphany in life. Thank you all so much for the honor of sharing with you today.
Oh, we're back. I'm not used to not having my bumper. I haven't made them yet. So sorry about that. Sorry. Okay, and I'm sweating like a pig.
Oh, you can't tell.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so people that I've interviewed in the book. Okay,
Yeah.
in the book, Maya Angelou, Ally McGraw, Barry Manilow, Desmond Tutu, Dr. Oz, Clive Davis, Craig Newmark. He invented
Newmark, I know who Craig Newmark
Craigslist.
is.
He invented
Uh-huh.
Craigslist. Deepak Chopra, Michael Beckwith. He's in The Secret and he runs Agape Church out here in LA. I have a video of him actually too. Lawrence Wright, who just wrote the book on Scientology, Going Clear, and they just did a doc of it that was huge, hit at Sundance.
Is it a good book? Is it a book positive on Scientology or negative on Scientology?
Negative, I think. It's a total expose. He's a New Yorker writer.
Oh,
he won the
okay.
Pulitzer for The Looming Tower, which is the premier book on Osama bin Laden. And I
Oh.
interviewed him about it. He won the Pulitzer, I believe in 2008. And so when he's in my book, he wrote the play that I had my epiphany that started this whole crazy project. And so, so he talks about that. He was a friend of mine, so I've taped him. So Larry just came out with that book and did really well. I think it's a bestseller, and again, it's a doc, and it's going to be on
documentary.
documentary. It's going to be on HBO soon. And Nell Newman, Paul Newman's daughter, who started Newman's Own, that whole
Oh,
organic
she
line.
started that. I didn't know
that was her
that.
whole idea, and so she enlisted her dad.
And
She
they-
talks about how her dad hated organic food, And he
Well,
hated,
I'm
like,
sure he did.
because her mother always cooked, healthy food, and he was like, oh, it's eating,
Let's go
grass.
out.
Yeah, like, but she explained to her dad, which I have to say I didn't know either until I interviewed her, that it's not just that the food doesn't have all the chemicals that we're ingesting with normal, farming, but it also is restorative to the earth.
That's right.
The practices
That's right.
replenish
No
the
pesticides.
earth. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they also their practices, the way that they plant, etc. The whole philosophy is about replenishing and not stripping everything.
That's right.
So it's also about sustainability.
Yeah,
So,
and most people don't understand that the definition of organic is much deeper than just putting it on a cereal box and saying this is organic. I mean, organic is about the earth. Organic is it's all about the earth and how pure it is.
yeah, and it's if you can get organic, not only is it better
True
for your body,
organic.
but it's so much better for the planet as a whole.
That's right.
And then Rabbi Shmuley, who is awesome.
I'm sorry, Rabbi Shmuley, if you're watching.
Do you know him?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
but I said that stuff about Kabbalah.
Oh, yeah. He did he had a show on TLC and did a whole thing on sex and and that. So he's big
Rabbis have sex.
he has 9 kids. Yeah.
Oh my God! The only guy that I invite here, Paul Greenberg, who wears a yarmulke, he has 6 or 7 kids.
Yeah, they're like Catholics.
No, you know what? You know what it is? I know what it is. From the Kabbalah Center, I know this. On Shabbat, on Friday night, do not strike me for this, but on Shabbat, that is the night that if you're conceived on Shabbat, on Friday night, right? If you're conceived as a child, then that's like the ultimate of the soulization of the souls or whatever. Exactly. So they always that's why they celebrate and they do this thing and they do this like Kabbalah and they do this dance and then they all go home and screw their brains out.
Like a fertility
and
dance.
it's so weird to think about because it's like none of them are sexy.
Oh.
None of them are sexy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to say that again. Oh, yeah. Because all the women wear wigs.
Oh, yeah.
What's underneath there?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're
Maybe
living
they got it
unfiltered
going
at home.
on. It's
Yeah,
like
they've
the
got
ladies,
a secret.
The ladies
we need
with
to find out
with
about
the burqas. Supposedly they look like they all have Michael Jackson cosmetic surgery when they go home and they take it all off and they buy like expensive lingerie and stuff like that.
Really?
You didn't know that either? That I know is a fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And then Cory Booker, I also interviewed, who is now a U.S. Senator. When I interviewed him, he was the mayor of Newark, and now he is a U.S. Senator. That's just,
And that's what happens when you get interviewed by Elise Ballard.
Thank you for that. Keep that in mind.
I did
all
that
those
in my
other people I
good
wanted to.
radio voice too.
So those people in the book, and recently I just interviewed Cindy Shupak, who was a writer on Sex and the City, and she just came out with a new book called The Longest Date: My Life as a Wife, or maybe it's just Life as a Wife, but she's
Oh,
she's
my God,
awesome.
that's
yeah, I've had the
great.
privilege of just interviewing all kinds of people. Then I've interviewed you. I interviewed
Well, I'm
like
nobody. We met over lunch, and that's the only reason that you interviewed me was I said, well, I'm going to have an epiphany, but
no, listen,
that was a
I
long
interviewed
time
a
ago.
lot of people, and not everyone made it in the book. So
thank you.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's
so.
very cool that I made it in the book. And once again, I might say that I'm sandwiched between Deepak Chopra and Clive Davis.
So, did you ever tell your family you were in the book? Because last time we talked, you had not told your family.
yes, I did.
Okay,
Not
great.
my family. Not my family. My sister.
Okay,
My sister.
So your husband still doesn't know.
Because I gave my sister a book for her birthday one year.
Okay,
My husband, well, now he does.
now
Marino, it's in the bookshelf. Just go outside your door and go over to the bookshelf. The book is there.
They'll give him one of the new paperbacks. I'll just give him give him one of these.
I was very back then because my story or my epiphany was about celebrating every day because it was my 50th birthday. No, 55th birthday. It was on my birthday. I was going down to see my family for my birthday.
It was your birthday that we interviewed. Yeah.
And it must have been my 55th because I was diagnosed at 50.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was my 55th. Well, anyway, it was one of my birthdays.
Right.
And I talk about how my mother was dying of cancer. And I saw her struggles going through chemo. Then I got diagnosed and I was going through chemo as she was dying. And I just said to myself, I can't do this. And then I heard the voice of Buddha. No, the voice of God, really. You know, God is many things to many people, but it was his voice, and it was there. And like you said when you were interviewing me, what side was it on?
Mm-hmm.
And I said the left. And that gave me the strength to. He said it was going to be okay. I heard it in the middle of the night. I was not gonna. I was like, I can't do this. I can't frickin' do this. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and you know what? The next day, I felt that was in the beginning of my chemo, by the way.
Yeah,
I
it
felt
was your first day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And
you'd been watching your mom go through it, so you knew what you were in for.
And my mom was dying. You know,
Yeah.
my mom when I was diagnosed, I remember her coming to the hospital because I had my hysterectomy, and I still see her sitting there. You know, I see her sitting there with my dad. My dad had his hat on. My mom is sitting there, and she told me how they needed to make the parking lot closer to the hospital. My dad parked some random place, but she was so weak, and she wore like a Carol Channing wigs, right? And the last time I saw my mom smile and laugh was the day before she died, and well, not really the day before she died, the day before she was unconscious, you know, like in that state of dying. And her hospice bed, I was bald. And I really hated wearing my wig, so I would wear a beanie all the time. And I went down to see her, and her hospice bed was so that she could see in her bathroom. You know, my mom always wore lipstick until she died. I mean, she had to have brows and lipstick. And I'm standing in her bathroom, and she goes, "Honey, try on my wigs for me, please." Try on my wigs. And she had all these Carol Channing-esque wigs. And I tried them on, and she just laughed, and that was the last time I actually, and she laughed. But that is so poignant for this show because for me, I celebrate, I know that people maybe sometimes will get not angry, but disappointed in how I deal with death. Like my friend's dog died and his name is Buda. But I said, you know, all dogs go to heaven, dude. I mean, because for me, I've had so much loss, you know, and loss of younger people. And in fact, I'll have my nieces on next week, and they've all really lost, and they're young. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but we'll laugh like hell at what it's like having me for an aunt. But it's celebrating life. It's not mourning death. Because honestly, I sometimes have this envious thing. I want to know what it's like to go to the next place. I just want to know. Not that I would kill myself, but I am so settled in that place of when it's time for me to go, I'm going to go.
Right. Yeah.
You
You
know?
had that gift of your particular epiphany of hearing that voice, which several people had.
Right. That's
heard
what you
a
said.
voice, and when it was outside of them and not just either a voice in their thoughts or just a thought form, it was always on the left. And someone at my agent, when we were writing the proposal, was like, "That's supposedly where the Holy Spirit sits." I never actually. I always
don't
forget
know,
to
'cause I
research
never go
that.
to church. I don't even know who the Holy Spirit is, other than the Mother, the Father, the Holy Spirit, and the you know whatever.
But I put that in the miracle section because and with the
the
other
Holy
guys
Spirit.
that had that, and actually they were there were some women but they didn't hear the voice outside. But all you guys had them on the left side, and
Whoa! I
yeah.
didn't. I see now. I didn't know that section was kind of.
Are you in the healings or the miracles? I can't remember. I think you're in the miracles.
I don't know.
But yours was a healing, but I think you're in the miracle section. But anyway, I put it into like 6 sections, you know, awakenings, new directions, healings, miracles, callings, and comings of age. And but a miracle is by definition is just something that happens that's inexplicable by natural law, or at least the laws that we understand so far. And so, but the gift that you heard, that I was rereading your Epiphany, how that voice, that message was so, you just knew it was true, which is also exactly what the other people said that heard the voice. It gave them that thing. And this is in every single Epiphany, I talk about 4 things that always happen. People are listening, they're paying attention. First step. Second step, they believe it no matter what, no matter how nuts it may seem to anybody else.
Nobody could ever tell me that my husband will do that, and he goes to church every Sunday.
Right, and he'll say it
and he
true.
knows where the Holy Ghost sits.
Right.
And maybe that's the reason I didn't tell him. Because you know what? Marino, I'm sorry if you're watching, which he probably is. You know, I didn't say anything because, no, he knows about the voice I heard, I think. And I heard it loud and clear, and until the day I die.
Well, in the nature of epiphanies, I always call them a gift, because if you don't believe in the way life works and you don't really believe in yourself, it's really hard to do the third thing, which is take action. The only way an epiphany is going to really change your life is to take action on it, or to guide you the right way that I think they're helping us be guided. And sometimes we're not going to do that without the quality of these moments. And because of that, the quality of that moment for you, what it meant to you, no matter what anyone else thought, no matter how unreal it may seem, even to our, those of us that have them, our own rational minds, it doesn't matter. The way it was, we believe in it 1,000%, and then we're able to take action on it. And for you, it gave you the hope and the knowledge, the belief that you were going to be okay, that the chemo was not going to kill you when everyone else thought it would.
Well,
they gave you a 20%.
Yeah, right. They gave me 20%.
And I think with the takeaway, because every single epiphany I ask about, as you know, I always say, what was the lesson learned or the wisdom gained from these moments, from these happenings? And I summarize them. That's their title. And yours was celebrate every day, which we've talked about. But another thing you say is that you told your kids to do, but also a great takeaway is do something great for yourself and one other person at least every day. Yeah. It can be really tiny, but be conscious about doing it. Yeah. I think that is a great.
Yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah, it's a great action step to take. And then the fourth thing that always happens is, I've already talked about the other three: listening, belief, taking action, and then serendipity, which we talked about briefly in the beginning, that we met serendipitously. But we all have serendipity in our lives, which is, circumstances falling into place as if the universe is telling you something, or just, random happenings that are incredible, but I found, and I believe, weren't you at the book signing I did in Venice? Okay, so Orion Williams is a person who notices serendipity and crazy circumstances in his life and is excited about it, and he notices it, he's grateful for it, and he takes action on it. So they've done scientific studies on this, that people who consider themselves lucky, they get luckier. They notice these serendipitous occurrences that happen in their lives, and they're excited about them. They're grateful for them. They take action on them. And I just encourage people, the more that you do that, the more you'll have it. And the more you develop these four things, the more you'll have epiphanies, and you can sort of get your life in flow.
Do you think epiphanies are almost like, and then I want to talk about your journal.
Okay.
Do you think that epiphanies are like, they say that when you're truly present, you're aware, right? You're aware and you're listening. And, and we all have this intuition, and the messages are there. The universe is telling us things, like universe was telling me, make the show funny, make the show about just who you are, Wendy, which is the picture I chose to be on the thing, which is me cracking up.
Right.
It was telling me all along. That was my sign, So, but epiphanies are, you're not going to have one. Like for me, with my epiphany, it was, I heard the voice. I was at the bottom, right? I was like, there's no way I can do this. It's like there's always darkest before the dawn, right? And then I hear the voice, and then I didn't realize though at that point until after that that's what got me through. Besides the love of my family, but that's what really got me through, was always knowing I heard that voice, and it was super cool to hear that voice too.
Yeah,
I can hear it now.
Yeah,
I can hear the sound of that voice now, and it is, 10 years later. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, everyone that talks about their epiphanies, they always remember viscerally, they remember everything about that moment, where they were, what it felt like. It's like you're transported in time to those moments.
Yeah. What it felt like when I stood up and I walked around. I know exactly what I did.
And an epiphany, my definition, is a moment of sudden or great revelation that usually changes your life in some way. Because I'm talking about the biggest ones in the book, at least in this project.
Yeah.
But that's their nature. They're instantaneous, but we may not realize, to your point, that we've had it until months, years, later.
I didn't realize it until you interviewed me, until I met you.
Yeah.
And I said, wait, I had one.
Yeah, you called me later and said, I think I have had one. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and a lot of people did that. A lot of women did that. They didn't think they'd had one, and then they came back to me with these epiphanies that we'd both be crying in. And that were really powerful and have reached a lot of people now and meant a lot to a lot of other people. So thank you again for
thank you
being
for
part
giving
of
me
it
that
and sharing.
me
And
that
again,
chance.
you had never told anyone the story. I don't think
I never told anybody, and I didn't tell
there were a
anybody
lot of-
about the interview for years after either. And I think you take a little bit of offense of that, but
No, I don't.
that was just no.
Oh,
Good.
gosh, no. I just want to encourage you and other people to not be ashamed of your stories. You're the unfiltered girl, right? And you, I get it. Look, when my epiphany is about leaving a marriage and why I left it was very personal to me. And the epiphany had everything to do with that. And I would go in, I'd started interviewing people because of my documentary work that started with Lord of the Wiens, but I came up with the idea of this one because I started doing all this behind the scenes work. And I started pitching the book, and they'd go, so what's your epiphany? I'd be like, why do you want to know mine? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? What about all these other people? And I realized through time that it was only appropriate that my epiphany be so personal to me if I were going to ask people this question, because so many people's greatest epiphanies in life are deeply personal, because that is the way they get our attention, right?
I guess
like
so,
we're
yeah.
in crisis, or hopefully you're not. Some people are not in crisis, but they're in a deeply personal place
I
that
think
you're gonna be listening.
You need a life changing. You need something that's going to change your life. You might not know it at the moment. Like I said, I didn't know. It wasn't an epiphany that I had. Maybe I had the epiphany when you asked me the question, and I walked away and I said, "Have I ever had an epiphany?" And then I realized that I had one,
Right.
but it took years maybe even for that epiphany to happen. The epiphany wasn't hearing the voice. The epiphany was realizing what that voice meant.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of your epiphanies, but I think it was an epiphany in the moment because you believed you were going to be okay. So I do think that was an epiphany for you, because you switched from being terrified to being strong. You believed that you were going to be okay. So I do think that was an
you're
epiphany
right.
for you.
You're right. You're
but
reminding me
I
now.
think that was another epiphany about what it meant in a bigger sense,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But I think that was an epiphany for you. But I think that the other thing I talk about, I think this is so important, that I've learned just from doing all these interviews, is how important it is to share your story. So that's, again, why I encourage you, especially tell your loved ones. That's why, you can just have them read it. Not for me. I don't care. I mean, your particular
right.
epiphany has helped a lot of other people, I happen to know, because I posted on Positively Positive, and, thousands of people commented or liked it or whatever,
Right.
read it. And so I think sharing your stories, especially these kinds of stories, are sharing your greatest wisdom. And we all can learn from it. And especially when you share with your loved ones and you ask them about theirs, you will get insights into them that you never got before. You will get healings. You will get insights, wisdom, healings, and a sense of intimacy that you did not have before. And I'm telling you, it's a fact.
Marino's reading mine right now, right? He went out and he got it off the bookshelf.
But anyway, so so that's the thing that I think about that. And I also think about your two things that you said that I thought were really interesting, is because I wanted to bring up this journal that I found, because, again, to your point of being happy, and I think it's fulfillment, but I also think, and I thought about this, it's about connection. Human beings
Yes.
are meant to be connected.
Yeah.
And if we're not, because I've been through bouts now where I've not felt connected, and it causes depression, I think. I mean,
Like when you have a writing, or when you're
I've been
alone a lot,
I'd never written before. This came from a film idea. And then I got a book deal, and Sarah talked about serendipity, like everything. But I interviewed people for it, right? So now I'm writing other things that are just coming out of my head. And so I got very isolated.
Yeah, I think
And
last time I
come
saw you told me about
Yeah, and so I come from a big family. I come from acting and filmmaking, which is totally collaborative, and I'm very much a people person. I love being alone too. I think but I get my energy from you guys. Too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm energized.
I'm opposite.
People
Yeah.
inspire me.
Yeah.
The people inspire me clearly.
When's your birthday?
June 6th.
I knew it.
I'm a Gemini.
Did you hear that,
So-
Marino? She's a Gemini.
But they've done all these studies that connection really is the driving force of human beings, the species really, and
it's the force. I'm sorry, but it's disconnection that is the thing that will create the end of time.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, exactly. And then forgiveness is so imperative. And I have a lot of epiphanies in here about forgiveness, and I think the misnomer about forgiveness is you should be able to forgive right away. No, sometimes it takes years, but it's the intention. And then eventually you will. You think you'll never be able to forgive someone. Linda Beale's epiphany in here is about forgiving men who killed her daughter.
Oh my!
She
God.
now
They say
teaches
that's the greatest gift is to be able to forgive.
But I had an epiphany when I read her story, because now she teaches with a couple of the guys that it was during the apartheid risings in South Africa. She now teaches reconciliation and forgiveness all over the world with some of the they were boys at the time. They were teenagers and got caught up in the thing. And
With them?
yes.
She goes with them?
Yes, they are teaching it with her. Yep, they got amnesty and the whole movement. It's fascinating story. And I grew up in the South, in Texas, where everyone's a Christian, right? And I don't know many Christians who could do that, And to me,
Forgive?
she walks the walk. Yeah, to forgive like that. A lot of people scream for capital punishment, And so for me, I was going through a time that I couldn't forgive. I couldn't forgive my ex-husband. And I was like, when I read her story, I had an epiphany. And I said, she can do that. I can do it, and it gave me hope. And she's the first person I reached.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference in forgiving and not forgetting. But I do. I feel like I've forgiven. So it's not weighing on me.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I won't,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to forget.
Yeah, I would never forget what people have done to me,
I
but
don't
I
forget.
could. I
I forget
think-
some things. Like some of my family's like, "Are you kidding me? You can't remember?" Like sometimes they're like, "How can you even talk to so and so?" And I'm just like, sometimes I am super forgiving to the point where I forget too, but not when it's unsafe, And so luckily I've gotten that. But forgiveness is a huge thing, and I just want to say to people that sometimes I think some people beat themselves up and say, well, it's impossible, or I haven't done it, and they feel sometimes it takes years, but it's a practice, and then it gets easier. But if someone like Linda Beale can do it, and if I can do it, because I'm a grudge holder.
Are you?
then,
Yeah, because you're a Gemini.
oh, is that right? I didn't know that was part of that.
Yeah.
And then also the other thing is gratitude, which is what is this? This guy Tim Ferriss. If you don't know if you know of him,
Ferriss. I know Tim Ferriss.
right? 4-Hour Work Week and all that. Do you know? Have you met him?
I think I actually have.
Really?
I'm
Oh
not
my
sure
God, I wanna
why,
meet
but
him.
it sounds like
I wanna
not that
interview
I
him
could
so bad.
probably really.
He's these amazing podcasts. They're amazing. Everyone go check them out. Tim Ferriss, Ferriss.
Yes, and he has. Is he bald? Does he have?
No, but he cuts his hair really short. He's a
mean-
blonde. He
Yeah,
did
yeah,
4-Hour
yeah.
Work Week,
Yeah, yeah,
4-Hour
yeah.
Body, and 4-Hour Chef. And I read 4-Hour Work Week, but he has these amazing podcasts. He has these amazing podcasts, and one of them was with this guy, and this guy invented this thing called the 5-Minute Journal, and Tim Ferriss uses it and highly recommends it. So I'm like, what is this? So I have one, and I would have brought you one today. I intended
Do you
to bring
actually
one,
have
but
to write things down in a journal?
it's so easy. It's 5 minutes. You write 3 things you're grateful for in the morning. Just 3 things.
okay.
And so anyone can do this at home. So you
Okay,
can do
good.
this if you don't buy his book, but you should. But I don't want to take away his sales. But anyway, if you can't,
Oh,
then
who cares?
5minutejournal.com. But 3 things you're grateful for. What would make today great? That things are manifesting that I'm writing.
Yes.
Or
So
maybe I'm noticing them and talk about serendipity. I think this helps create serendipity. And you write a daily affirmation. I am whatever you want. And then at night, you
Have sex.
do
No.
I wish
With yourself.
you write 3 amazing things that happened today. I found this really interesting because my mind will be like, I don't think anything's very good's happened, and it makes you think and start you cultivating gratitude. 3 amazing things that happened today, and it also makes you realize, oh, this did happen. That was amazing. You know what I mean? And then how could I have made today better? Another great thing.
I have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can't write anything. Like,
Why are you saying that? Yes, you can.
well, I can, but of course I can write things. But whenever I have to like journal, I get this. start going like
It's not journaling. You just say, how could I have made today better? I could have cleaned up my room. I could have cleaned my
so
desk.
I don't have to give it deep thought or anything
No,
like that.
he gives you like one line per thing.
Oh, okay.
So just write one line per thing.
Oh.
3 things you're grateful for when you wake up in the morning, and what would make today great, and one daily affirmation. Then at night, right before you go to bed, 3 amazing things that happened today, and how could I have made today better? And you're already doing like the one great. Do you actually practice the one great thing that you do
This
and the
is
one
what
great
I
thing
practice.
for someone else?
So yes. So yes.
And so I've just found from doing this just for
Yeah.
a week, it's been
It
amazing.
comes back to you. Have you
Yeah.
ever? Did you read Pamela Grout's E Squared?
Mm-mm.
You have to.
Okay, I don't know that one.
You
I'll write that
have
down.
to, and then she just came out with E3. It's 10. She gives you 10 experiments to do where you actually ask the universe, and she gives you a timeline. She teaches you how to ask the universe, and I have to tell you,
Does it work?
Every time I freaking ask the universe, I get what I want.
Really? So wait, do you use this? Do something great for yourself and do
Yes.
something great for everyone every day?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know that I do something great for myself, but I try to do something, I don't know if we would consider it great, but like this morning, I try to do things like that are unexpected by other people. Like the guy at Starbucks doesn't expect to get the, $3 tip on the $1 coffee, kind of thing.
Right.
And I actually learned that from Pamela Grout, that I find joy, and I'll walk out of. I can't really say this because my husband's probably watching and he's going to kill me for like doing stuff like that. But yes, I try to do the unexpected for people when I'm out and about, and always one thing a day. Like, can I make somebody really feel good about themselves in one way or another? Like, you really look beautiful today, or they might be really small things to me, but to other people, like, I love those pants. That shirt looks amazing on you.
I know. People say, if someone says that to me, it will make all the difference.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
You
I
never
did it
know.
this morning in the Starbucks. It was 6:00 in the morning. I was at Starbucks, and a girl was in there, and she had on a T-shirt. She was so cute. She was probably 25, but she had on the crazy hair, and she had on a happy smiley face vintage T-shirt, and then she had like
I want one of those.
fishnet. Yeah, me too. That's what I was looking at her. I was like, "Where'd you
Note
get that
to self.
T-shirt?" And she had fishnets with shorts. Right,
Cute.
and Converse, and I just thought she looked amazing. And I told her, I said, I just love the way you look. And here I am, I'm like, no makeup. I'm like, I'm 60 for crying out loud. She probably thought. Then she looked at me. She said, well, thank you. I know I made her day for the rest of the day. She felt amazing about herself. That's kind of the stuff that I'm able to do that I feel as though really makes people feel better.
Yeah. And I think that you live with that intention. And so I think that's one thing I'm going to think about doing when I do these things too. Because I think I didn't really believe, actually, that we came in with maybe our own specific purpose. And I also really didn't believe that, I wasn't sure I really believed that positive thinking and all that stuff worked. And I've noticed in my own life, just by being immersed in this, because I'm forced to be to some degree from the project, how much I have changed and my brain has changed. It's amazing. It will go, instead of going down a rabbit hole, it will go into a more positive thing, or I'll catch myself now much quicker, and I think it has a lot to do with you can just rewire your brain. It's amazing.
You can rewire your brain.
I know.
And there is always Kurt's getting Nancy.
Are we almost done?
Yeah, we're almost
Is there anything
done.
you wanted to talk about?
No, we don't. We have
Okay.
no strict cutoff.
Oh, okay. We don't. Oh, okay.
No.
I thought we had an hour. I don't know.
Yeah. The thing that I have learned, and I learned a lot from Pamela Grout. Okay, that is that the universe is out there. The universe is God. The universe is whatever you want to call it, but we are all connected. And there is this amazing energy that is out there. But you know what? We are so busying ourselves with talking about what is wrong with our lives that if we just pull back, stop talking about what's wrong with our lives, and focus on what's right with our lives.
Right, yeah.
And only talk about what's right with our lives. And she also, what I do is I get up in the morning, and everybody knows this. I have this happy song playlist, and Pamela Grout says, get up in the morning and here's the songs I want you to listen to. Well, now I've added to the Megan Trainor is like my happy song playlist.
Is she the I'm all about the bass.
Yeah,
about
but her
the-
album is amazing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, her album, and that's like not the best song. Her album's amazing,
Oh, cool.
and it's just so feel good, right?
Yep.
But she says Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful Life" and Anne Farrell's "Happy" and R. Kelly's "I Think I Can Fly" or whatever. But the first thing when I first put that into practice, and I would wake up in the morning, and the first thing I would do is put that in my ears and make my coffee and dance around my kitchen. My whole day was completely different. You know?
I had an acting coach say that you should dance every single day.
Yeah.
Gets you in your body. It gets you connected. I always say, like, for listening, if people don't meditate, or I'm not a good meditator.
No,
myself.
I'm not a
I've
good
started-
meditator.
But one of the ways is which they call it mindfulness too, right?
Yeah.
But in acting, because I come from acting, I was in method. That's mainly my training. So the sense memory of really being in touch with your senses really helps you get present to life. You can't be anywhere else if you're with your hands really touching the table.
Yeah,
if you really
grounded.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
and you're only present, and dancing puts you in your body like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sit there and so like everybody, because I work from my living room, right? My office is my living room.
do you really? Oh, I didn't know
yeah.
that.
My office is my living room, and then my husband works from home also, and I have headphones I have little earbuds in all of the time, because I tell you, if I listen to music all day, my day is so much better than when I kind of forget and I just get into my work and get into the grind, and then I see at 2:00 I'm like anxious. I don't want to get out of the house, and I wish I smoked cigarettes. So that I would, no, seriously, because I get anxious, right? But in the morning, if I start off my morning with the first thought in my morning, what's your first thought when you wake up in the morning, Elise? What is your first thought? I'll tell you what my first thought is. My first thought is I have that negative, oh, shit, what's coming? And, oh, today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be a great day. What can I do today that is going to be great? That's how I have to, the shitty thoughts coming in, and then I have to stop it. I lay in my bed, and I do that, and when I get up, I have to keep thinking, what amazing thing will happen to me today, because that is what today is all about.
Yeah, that's what this thing's saying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this girl in this writing group that I'm in, she said, she wrote about this happy memory she had in New York when she was 19, living in the East Village, and she was taking a dance class, and like she'd wake up early and do something, and then she took a nap on the bench in Washington Square Park, and then she went to her other ballet class where they practiced bar to Etta James, I think.
Etta James.
And she said, I was so happy. What was the memory that you were happy? And I was like, that memory makes me happy. But I had a memory of New York too, when I was in my early 20s and living in the East Village as well, and acting and everything. And I would wake up, and literally, to your point, I would wake up and go, what's going to happen today? You know? And I would expect, crazy things, amazing things to happen. And they did.
That's
now,
right.
New York is pretty magical, but I realized that. And so I started doing it here, but I realized that I had gotten into a funk and had quit thinking that way. And so I started, doing that anyway on accident. But
well, you have to do it. I never did it. Now I do it, and I listen to my songs, and I try to wake up when the negative thought comes into my head in the morning. I get rid of it. I just got to get rid of it. I have to get rid of it. And don't think, I'm special, because negative shit gets into my head all of the time, right? But I try to get rid of it, and part of my feeling good about myself is being able to share, like we're sharing in this show.
That's what I'm saying. You have to share your stories. Yeah.
And that's the only reason I do my radio show. I don't make money to do my radio show. This is a radio show that I do because I want to do it, and I want to be able to take my life's experiences and other people's life's experiences and share them with people, because it's an amazing venue to be able to do that. And since we are already 10 minutes over, Kurt.
So much for there is no time limit here.
We do have to probably wrap it up. That's because this is a clock, and I just looked at it.
Oh, okay. I was like wondering what you were doing.
Yeah. So, Elise.
Yes.
Let's give everybody your information. It's been up on the screen a lot, right? Do we have her information up on the screen? How to contact you about it's epiphanychannel.com.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Epiphanychannel.com, or I'm on Facebook under Elise Ballard, Twitter Elise Ballard, Instagram Elise Ballard, Pinterest Elise Ballard.
But if people have
everything.
an epiphany and they want to share their epiphany with you, are
Yeah,
you
and-
open for people to contact you about that?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, if they're written well and I can edit them, or even if they're not. And videos, I wish someone would video theirs and we could put it up, you know?
Well, you should start that. You should start that.
I can't run around and do them right now
You should
anymore.
do
You
that.
know, I used to run around all by myself and do them. And now I'm writing a book and scripts and stuff. So, but if they want a video, if you want to video your own epiphany, I
Yes.
would love it. Put it up on YouTube. You can make it private. I'll look at
You know
it.
what you
We
should
can
do?
put it up.
From my marketing side of my marketing brain, put
Yeah.
on your website
Uh-huh.
5 questions. Answer these questions in your epiphany. Like if people
Yeah,
are
no,
telling
they've
you,
got it, yeah. Yeah,
right?
it's under the share. And if you go to the website, and also you can find my website also at www.eliseballard.com. It's also Elise
Okay.
Ballard. So you can remember Elise Ballard and everything will go there. And then there's a share your epiphany. And I noticed that the link is weird. You have to go kind of higher than the words. I don't know what happened there. I got to fix that. But then you go to a whole thing where you can write in your epiphany, or you can upload a link to a video and I'll go watch it and we can put it up.
Okay, well that's perfect.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you.
Hey, thank you. It was so
You
much
know,
fun.
We have an officially 1 hour and 3 minute show.
Yay. Thank you, Kurt.
Well, okay. So everybody, thank you for listening, and we will be back next week. Next week, I am here with my 3 beautiful nieces, and celebrating one of their birthdays. Well, 2 of their birthdays actually, and I can't wait actually because it's going to be so much fun to have my nieces in studio, and they're all beautiful. They. And I have no idea what we're going to... No, we'll talk about
How
some
old are
really
they?
good stuff. Lonnie is 33. Cassidy's birthday is the 30. She'll be 30 on the show. And then there's Marissa. But they have a big story to tell.
Oh,
Kurt's-
cool.
Kurt, you all right? Yeah. You all right? All right. You
Oh,
gonna,
and I know who the Cinderella is. It's
Oh.
the Rose from Downton Abbey. I don't know her name in real life, but do you know Downton Abbey?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so it's Rose from Downton Abbey is Cinderella. So now you're perked up, I can tell, and you want to go see it. Or you're like, oh, I have to go see Cinderella. Now you know it's Rose. Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah. I love that show.
Thank you so much.
Well, this is right around the time. Actually, it's 16 minutes after the time that I usually say, Kurt, beam me up.